Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. I am coming at you. I'm Gabby, and I'm here today to actually give you a year end review of everything that's kind of happened to me through this last year, and kind of the ups, the downs, and just, a recap of, you know, if you don't know me, this is kind of something that's happened this year. So, get ready to get settled in. This one will be a little bit longer. I don't know how much long or how long it'll be, but it'll just be longer. And we'll see where it takes us. So, I am Gabby Martinez. I am a licensed pharmacist in two states, Oklahoma and Florida now. And starting really at the beginning of this year, was a huge transition for me. So I lived in Oklahoma for 19 years before moving here in Gibsonton, Florida, but I call it Tampa because it's easier to say. Tampa, Florida in February. Literally started driving on February 15th. Monday, the 23rd of this year will actually be my first year of being married to my awesome husband. So, needless to say, it's been a year of, being a newlywed, moving to a totally new state, and pretty much kind of starting from scratch. So it's been quite a busy year. And one of the kind of things that always sticks in my mind is that I had to quit my first job. In February. So on February 14th was the last day that I worked at the compounding pharmacy that I used to work at. And I actually loved compounding. The really cool thing about compounding is that you cater it to the people and you cater it to individuals. And it's more of like you serve everybody else. And so that really kind of stuck with me through all of this was, I've always worked in independent pharmacies just because I like the feel of an independent. I've never worked in a big chain retail one. So really, it just wasn't my jam. And so actually coming to Florida, I didn't have a job lined up. I didn't have anything waiting for me here. I didn't have any family other than my husband and our roommate. And so I didn't have a lot to do other than study for my state law exam. So those of you who don't know pharmacy, you have to get licensed in every single state that you live in, which means you have to take a new state law test every time you move. So being a military spouse, who knows how many I'm going to take of those? Hopefully not a lot. I'd rather not take, 50 of them because they're pretty awful. So, let's see, we started driving February 15th. So the day after Valentine's Day, started our journey. We drove for 4 days straight in a little caravan. And we got here. Luckily, me and my mom had scoped out some houses down here, and we found a rental, $15.95 a month, which is actually pretty nice for a brand new home, 2,000 square feet. Awesome. So we've been living here in this nice little home since then. But coming here and doing a military move, if anybody is familiar with a military move, then you know exactly what I mean when I say we did not at all feel like we were, at home. We didn't have hardly any of our stuff. Like it took 3 whole weeks, 21 days for us to get our stuff that was packed by the military people because something had happened with shipping and all of that fun stuff. So we had as much stuff as we could fit in our cars for our animals as well. So, we have a cat and 2 dogs. And so there was some stuff for my dog, which is the French Bulldog you guys keep seeing. And there was stuff for Leona, which is the chocolate lab, and then Luma, the tabby cat. And, we got here and obviously the house had nothing in it. So we had to, buy some furniture. We had to buy food, obviously. And we actually did not buy cooking utensils because we were for sure our stuff was coming the next week, every single week from the military movers. So we had It's like we had nothing here, but we still had each other. And that was a pretty stressful time too, because, we were tired. We didn't have any of our stuff. We didn't feel like we were at home. And so, after we got all of our stuff, it took a good 2 weeks to unpack everything, get the house up and running. And during that time, I was still just studying for my tests, and I didn't have a job, and I didn't have any income coming in. So that kind of was stressing me out. And then my test comes around, I pass it. Thank God, because I did not want to take that again. Pass it, and then I started looking for jobs. I had applied to 12 big box, and I went door to door with my resume to another 10 independent pharmacies around where we live. And it took a whole month to get one part-time job. And so if you guys are thinking that, oh, she's a pharmacist, she must have all of the luck finding a job, that is not true. Pharmacy has the worst job saturation market there is. Everybody knows somebody has a job saturation issue, but pharmacists are very, they're not in high demand anymore. And so, it took me that month to find one part-time job. And then another had called me up for occasional part-time, a little bit after that. And so I had 2 kind of part-time jobs going. And I got that at the end of April. And it was funny because before that, hey Diane, before that I had started the network marketing company that I'm in now, just because, again, I didn't have any income coming in. We had just gotten here. Hey Nelly, thanks for watching, you guys. I had no income coming in whatsoever because obviously I didn't get hired anywhere anytime soon, and brand new to Florida. So I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a job lined up for me. I just had to go off of whoever would hire me first. And so I'm still with actually both of those. And then I added on another independent pharmacy part-time job just so that I can kind of string along 3 things. So that is just something, if you're struggling to find jobs, it's actually pretty common. And as far as my network marketing company went, it did not take off as much as I wanted it to. And I think that goes to say for a lot of us in this industry is we start off with these high hopes for it, and then we do the certain things and it just doesn't go as planned. I was one of those where I spammed everybody on my friends list, and even almost went after my husband's friends, to which he totally shut that down because he didn't want to be associated like that. And I totally get it now with everything that I've learned, but at the time I just wanted income. I just wanted something. I needed, to start bringing in something. And so between, the no sales from the network marketing and the hardly enough money from my other 2 part-time jobs, I was just like, okay, what else can I do? And then I kind of got into affiliate marketing, which I started in June. And that's actually done a lot more for me than I ever thought it could. And I've learned a ton about marketing than I ever thought I would. Just because I do have a little bit of marketing from my compounding job in Oklahoma, which is more of you go door to door to doctors and you have to get past the receptionist. And it's kind of funny how it does flow over a little bit in this industry. But needless to say, that's what I've been working on for the remainder of the year, is just mostly on figuring out how to market online, how to do it effectively, and how to do it profitably. And so, through that and working my other jobs, it's just been this kind of battle of figuring out how to balance everything, how to balance my hectic schedule, because I will literally be scheduled. Like even this week, I was scheduled on Monday to work this Friday, even though I was off, and I had something else scheduled. So I had to postpone that. And so you're just trying to juggle everything and make it all work. And luckily I don't have kids. So I am so happy I don't, because that would make it even just harder. And so, I mean, for me, it's been the last 6 months that things have kind of taken a little bit of an upturn, just because, I've gotten my feet a little bit more into the jobs that I currently have. And the pharmacies, obviously they like me. They'd like to provide more hours if they could, but they just don't have the scripts. So that's kind of the world I live in as a pharmacist. And my world as an online marketer is just a little bit different, where now I get to help mentor people, but I also have to fit it into that very limited time schedule that I have. And luckily, my husband has been super supportive of everything and just trying to, do anything that he can to just be my emotional support. Because, this is literally our first year of marriage. It'll be 1 year on Monday. And I think the biggest thing is that our relationship has never changed throughout this. It's been almost like we've just remained, upgraded boyfriend and girlfriend. So, it's kind of neat. If I look back on our past year, even that can be enrolled in this year-end review, it's been great. It's like any other relationship that you would ever have. Most people say, oh, when you get married, things change. And it's like, for us, no, the only thing that changed was our location. And, he's definitely been there through my personal ups and downs. One of the bigger things that I've always struggled with is, depression and anxiety. And moving here did not fix that. And being in a place where you don't know anybody, you don't have anybody you can rely on other than people in your house. Like, the isolation factor alone is super awful. And it really hasn't gotten much better, except for the fact that we do have a neighbor. We have one good neighbor so far, where they'll hang out with us every other Friday. And they're obviously busy, but they're probably my only tangible friend that I have around right now. And so it just makes it really hard. If anybody deals with isolation and, isolation depression, it sucks. It's just one of those where you don't have a lot where you can go out and go hang out with friends and stuff like that, because they're not here. And so the way that I guess I've dealt with it is, just digging myself into, learning new things, keeping busy, and just distracting myself from it, because that's the easiest way to do it. If you have some other easy ways to do it, definitely let me know down below. Obviously, I'm not working out right now. I need to, but haven't gotten that sucked into my schedule yet. I've tried, but with busy schedules, I can make up as many excuses as I want. It's just that I haven't done it. And other than that, I would say my year end has gotten better. It's definitely gotten better from January 1st to now. I would say my end of 2019 is definitely good. It's golden. It is definitely looking on the brighter side. Another thing, I actually found out that I suffer from migraines here in Florida a lot more than I did in Oklahoma. So I had to figure that out, which all they did was give me a blood pressure medication, and it's helped a bunch. So I guess if you're also looking for migraine relief, maybe look at your blood pressure, because apparently mine was super high and now it's actually pretty good. And I had one migraine last week, and that's the first one I've had in 2 months. So if that piques your fancy, I recommend you go to your primary care physician and ask them about that. And really, that's all I want to go over, because, that's all that's coming up other than Christmas. We're not really doing much other than my father-in-law's coming into town and we're spending time with him, and then unwrapping presents, and then it'll be 2020. So I think as far as my 2020 goes, I have a much brighter outlook for it. I have probably a lot more going on. And my business itself is gonna be a lot better, a lot more automated, a lot cleaner, less on, time that I have to, work on it as I have this past year. And I think it's just gonna be better. I think we're all gonna be on a good slope for 2020. And I know this isn't as useful tip-wise as anything, but I think it's, trying to figure out how your year has gone and what you've gone through in a year's time. I think that's really important. I think that's one of the cooler things about looking back and evaluating how your year went, is to see what good you've done, how much you've overcome, and then how to apply it for next year. So I think as far as anything that I want you guys to take away, that I am, gonna take on 2020, and I'm gonna make my business boom. And I hope that any of you who are watching and have made it to this far, if you put year end down below, I'll personally look at your game plan and what you have going and help you create a game plan to go into 2020 pretty strong. So I say that as my farewell. This really wasn't a tip or a trick. It's just more of a relatable year-end post, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, throw me some love, say hi, and if you're catching this on the replay, I know it's long-winded, long story short, give me a hashtag replay and I'll reach out to you later. All right, I hope you guys have a great Thursday. I hope your guys have had a good year, and I challenge you guys to do your own year-end review live on your page, your profile, your group, whatever it is, because I think it's really important that you address it, you let your people know how things have gone, and that, you're a person too, and you're not just sitting there behind the screen, you're real. So that is all I have. That's my RX for success. I hope you guys take as directed. All right, see you later.